Tonight, out of jail but far from freedom, accused war criminal Ben Roberts-Smith bailed just minutes ago to prepare for his most personal battle. The PM tours the fuel fire disaster zone as he assures us not to panic. A remarkable act from a grieving mother trying to spare the man who killed her son from being sent to jail. Sussex spotting, a morning at the beach, an afternoon on the harbour, rolling out the royal red carpet, Sydney style. And Wayne Bennett shows no sympathy towards under fire Dragons coach Shane Flanagan.
This is 9 News with Georgie Gardner.
Good evening. He spent 10 days in jail, but tonight, former SAS soldier Ben Roberts-Smith is out on bail. The 47-year-old has just been released from Silverwater Correctional Centre under strict conditions as he prepares to fight allegations of war crime murders during his time in Afghanistan.
A war hero, victorious again, winning his battle for freedom. This was Ben Roberts-Smith just 20 minutes ago, being escorted to an exit at Silverwater Prison, wearing the same clothes as when he was arrested and attracting the same media attention as well. Hours earlier, he was in prison greens, beaming in from Silverwater with his lawyers on the front line and his parents forever in his corner.
He knows I love my son.
In the face of 5 war crime murders, Roberts-Smith was granted bail, and a digger mate in the courtroom was one of the first to celebrate.
I hope he goes to Anzac Day next week, and I hope he stands tall.
Australia's most decorated soldier has spent 10 days in Silverwater jail following his highly publicised arrest at Sydney Airport. And the Commonwealth investigators who locked him up argued he should stay there. Crown Prosecutor Simon Beckham said the applicant had made advanced plans to relocate overseas. The former soldier's lawyer hitting back. The prospect that the applicant is a flight risk is fanciful. He doesn't have his passport. He isn't going anywhere. The SAS corporal made 6 tours to Afghanistan. It's alleged between 2009 and 2012 he murdered or ordered the killing of 5 Afghans. 4 of his junior comrades have been granted indemnity in exchange for testifying against Roberts-Smith. The legal case now playing out, described by his defence as uncharted territory. And the publicity it's attracted means that a fair trial of the allegations is simply not possible. But the Crown insisted Roberts-Smith has a history of interfering with witnesses. The examples include threatening or discouraging potential witnesses through third parties, using burner phones to evade law enforcement. This was the start of a legal process which Judge Grogan today conceded will not take days or months, but will take years. Ben Roberts-Smith may have won this battle, but now he has to prepare for war with a growing army of supporters. But he knows a loss could put him back in jail for life. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Well, let's head to Silverwater Correctional Centre now, where we find Hayley Francis. Hayley, Roberts-Smith was released just minutes ago.
That's right, Georgie. Despite being granted bail at midday today, some 6 hours later he was released. All other inmates were released from the front of Silverwater Jail today, whereas Ben Roberts-Smith was taken out the back. There was a waiting vehicle, we believe driven by his girlfriend. It is there he was escorted by 2 police officers who then confronted photographers who were trying to get their shot of Ben Roberts-Smith in that vehicle. It was a very tense back and forth, but ultimately those photographers did get their shot. Ben Roberts-Smith giving a thumbs up. Now, while this is a degree of freedom for the former soldier today, it is anything but. He has a lot hanging over him and an almighty legal battle ahead. Georgie?
Hayley Francis, thank you. Well, Chief Court reporter Tiffany Genders joins me now in the studio. And Tiff, Ben Roberts-Smith's life will look very different upon release.
Georgie, he may be free, but it's hardly going to be freedom for Ben Roberts-Smith. He has to return to Queensland and report to police 3 times a week. The accused war criminal has also been ordered to hand over his passport, banned from even stepping foot in an international airport. Travel to Sydney and Perth is allowed, but he must give authorities a reason. His communications will be closely monitored by the AFP, with only one approved mobile phone and computer. He can't use WhatsApp, Telegram or any other encrypted messaging service or contact certain soldiers he served with in Afghanistan. Georgie, if the SAS veteran breaches any of these conditions, his dad Len is on the hook for $250,000. To use the judge's words, any slip-up and Robert Smith would find himself once again in green.
Tiffany Genders, thank you. Well, it's the paradox of the petrol pump. Despite ongoing global uncertainty and squeezed domestic supply sparked by the refinery blaze, fuel prices are falling. But the relief might be temporary. The Treasurer warning tough times are ahead.
Apocalyptic scenes at Australia's worst-timed petrochemical disaster. But the Prime Minister says there's no need to panic.
80% of diesel production is continuing. 80% of aviation fuel is continuing.
However, the spectacular blaze at Viva Energy's oil refinery in Geelong has knocked out 40% of its petrol production.
Any shortfalls in production, we're very confident that we can cover that with our import program, which is quite substantial.
In Queensland, home to Australia's only other refinery, plans announced for a third in Gladstone.
I believe Australia can control our own destiny. Never again should we be in this position.
We've got to get more oil out from under the ground. We've got to drill.
A fortnight of fuel diplomacy from the PM has delivered agreements for an extra 100 million litres of fuel, or about 1 day's worth of supply.
We're starting to get up closer towards 40 days of petrol. So these are good trends.
Indonesia promising 250,000 tonnes of urea fertiliser, a fifth of what's needed by farmers for the winter crop.
Australia's fuel supplies in the most difficult and risky circumstances internationally are being managed as well as they possibly can be across government and industry.
Prices are not affected by what happens in Australia. Global factors determine what we pay at the bowser.
The price of unleaded dipping below $2 a litre at many servos across the nation. This independent in Perth offering fuel for just under $1.85, 12 cents cheaper than the major down the road. But the economic shock from the Iran war will be so sizable, it's trimmed government appetite for major economic reform in next month's budget. Treasurer Jim Chalmers' ambition cruelled by the times.
The consequences of this conflict on the other side of the world are already very serious for Australians, and they risk becoming severe.
Andrew Probin, 9 News.
The Prime Minister has cut his Asia trip short to tour that Geelong oil refinery that's been gutted by fire. Anthony Albanese says the blaze won't push Australia into stage 3 restrictions amid urgent efforts to restore the plant to full production as quickly as possible.
In the belly of Australia's crippled oil refinery, the Prime Minister returns from Malaysia early to inspect the damage.
This is an incident that obviously is regrettable, particularly given the timing in which it has occurred.
A day after the Cryo oil refinery exploded from a major gas leak, Anthony Albanese offers his reassurances about the country's fuel supplies.
The event here will not lead to any change.
With the damage largely contained to 2 units used for petrol production, the plant has avoided a disastrous shutdown, but its operations have reduced. Diesel production is now at 80%, the same for jet fuel, while petrol has dropped to just 60%.
The fact that 60% of petrol production is continuing is actually very positive, given the circumstances.
Even though our leaders remain optimistic, industry experts suggest it could lead to higher prices at the pump.
They'll have to purchase that price on what's called the spot price rather than the long-term contract price.
For now, the Prime Minister says Australia won't move to stage 3 fuel restrictions. And while repair works here in Corio may take time, Viva Energy is adamant it will find a way to get back to full production soon.
We can run this facility close to full production without those 2 units.
Although safety questions are also mounting. In the middle of a global oil crunch, Corio residents fear the site is being pushed to the brink, and Wednesday night's inferno could have been catastrophic, not only wiping out one of the country's last oil refineries, but also their community.
What would we do in that sort of situation? We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here.
We don't push capacity beyond what's safe. We would never do that.
Ollie Haig, 9 News.
The US president has accused Australia of not doing enough in America's war against Iran. Donald Trump directing his anger at us before taking aim at the Pope. All of that coming on the same day he announced a major ceasefire in the Middle East.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what?
Donald doubling down.
Well, I'm not happy with Australia because they were not there when we asked them to be there.
The US president with an old ally in his sights, but the Australian government can't say why.
Australia's position is the same today as it was yesterday, the same as it was the day before.
A formal request hasn't been made. The facts are that Australia is quite substantially increasing its investment in defence.
In Washington, the Treasurer meeting with his US counterparts before countering America's allegations.
I'm not interested in engaging with some kind of dispute with President Trump when it comes to these issues.
Tonight, Donald Trump displeased with Down Under, but he says things are looking up with Iran.
We have a very good relationship with Iran right now, as hard as it is to believe.
Washington eyeing a potential return to the negotiating table, confident a deal could come soon.
I would go to Pakistan, yeah. Pakistan has been great. If the deal is signed in Islamabad, I might go.
One less hurdle to that agreement, a new ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. Donald Trump making the announcement on social media. A pause in fighting for 10 days, and both sides invited to the White House. It has been my honour to solve 9 wars across the world, and this will be my 10th, so let's get it done.
While there is optimism that a path to peace could be possible here, the Pentagon remains on alert, warning that US troops are prepared to resume major combat operations at a moment's notice.
But if Iran chooses poorly, then they will have a blockade and bombs dropping on infrastructure, power and energy.
If there's no deal, fighting resume.
But the fighting never stopped with the pontiff.
I have a right to disagree with the Pope. Well, I want him to preach the gospel. I'm all about the gospel. But
the president lashing out again at Pope Leo as His Holiness sent out a message of his own.
Woe to those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic or political gain.
In Washington, D.C., Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
A Chinese monitoring device has been discovered off the coast of one of Australia's closest neighbours. An Indonesian fisherman discovered this object in the waters between Bali and Lombok last week. Experts have now identified it as an underwater sensor that can transfer real-time data back to Beijing via satellites. The concern? China could use this information to aid their submarine operations in strategic waterways. A Sydney childcare worker has been hit with more than 100 new charges in a case police are describing as a parent's worst nightmare. Liz Daniels joins us from the newsroom. Liz, this man was first arrested in July last year.
He was, Georgie, and we can't identify him because of court orders. Last year, he was arrested on 8 counts of online abuse, but today an extra 129 charges were laid in court. Federal police saying they're now combing through more than 2 million electronic files trying to identify the victims and contact their families. Investigators warning, though, this is a painstaking process that could take months, Georgie. They say their focus is on gathering evidence in a way that will stand up in court.
Liz Daniels, thank you. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have spent the final day of their Australian tour sailing across a sparkling Sydney harbour. They've also met with survivors of the Bondi terror attack.
A low-key touchdown after sundown. That's them. Bypassing the Qantas gate straight onto the tarmac Meghan taking Harry's hand, much to the delight of onlookers.
They look so beautiful. Really exciting. They seem really lovely.
First stop, Mimi's restaurant in Coogee. They weren't spotted again till this morning when Meghan, flanked by security, took a brief stroll along the Bondi to Bronte walk. Then she and Harry travelled to Bondi Beach, meeting survivors and the lifeguards who assisted on our nation's darkest day.
Oh, we're just here to support the lifeguards. Everything that they did on that day and every day is just epic.
From there, it was on to the waiting crowd at the Opera House.
Lovely couples. Exciting for us coming from Hobart. We don't get to see celebrities very often.
Stopping to talk to Michelle, who brought a photo of her late mum Daphne, a Harry superfan.
He gave me the biggest hug. It seemed to last forever.
Hello. What's it like to be back at the Opera?
9 years. Very nice to see you.
Veteran Joel van der Zwaan and his family were the welcoming committee.
Yes.
Offering personalised thongs, but it was his daughter Charlotte who stole the show.
She's been speaking all week about meeting them and wanting to dance with Harry, so she got that moment today, which I think was really beautiful.
A sparkling afternoon on the harbour, salt, spray and sunshine, a red carpet rolled out Sydney style. Meghan and Harry joining veterans out on the water. They pitched to Harry the idea of another Invictus Games being held here.
He's all for it.
He's all for it, yeah.
He said
great venue.
Get it sorted.
He brings a lot of attention to great causes, and Invictus is very close to his heart.
This is what Harry and Meghan do best, the charitable appearances and the fanfare. It looks like a royal tour, it feels like a royal tour, but with a twist.
The twist being that they're also here to make money. Alison Petrowski, 9 News.
Well, from the buzz of Sydney Harbour to a more mindful moment in Coogee. The Duchess of Sussex is right now enjoying a lifestyle retreat and dinner. Let's cross to Elizabeth Bryan, who's there for us. And Lizzie, this was an expensive ticketed event, but Meghan managed to pull quite a crowd.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie. This is the event that supposedly initiated the entire trip. Meghan is right now at the Her Best Life, a women's wellness weekend here at the Intercontinental Hotel, where she's speaking with around 300 women. We saw many of those women come in earlier, very well dressed, but we do understand there were some tickets still available for the event. And of course, maybe that's no surprise given it was around $3,000 a head, and even more if you wanted a group photo with the Duchess. And guests won't have her for very long because soon she and Prince Harry will be on their way to Allianz Stadium, where we find James Wilson tonight. And James, what can we expect there?
Yeah, that's right, Lizzie. They're on their way over here soon. A chance to finally let down their hair after a long tour. The rugby here at Allianz, the Waratahs playing Moana Pacifica. We're expecting the Duke and Duchess to arrive around 15 minutes before kickoff. They'll be joined by former Wallabies great John Eales and Rugby Australia CEO Phil Waugh. Now, Phil Waugh's on a very important mission. We have the Rugby World Cup here next year, and he's told me he's trying to get into Harry's ear to come back down under next year to watch, of course, the English play, as well as the Wallabies. Now, in the next few minutes, the players will take the field and begin their warm-up for the game. And it is a big night here at Moore Park. Right next door is the Swans versus the Giants. 40,000 people sold out, but they don't have two very special people. That is the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who will be joining us here and taking the field after the game to meet the players. So a very special occasion all round. Georgie?
Enjoy, James. Thank you. Let's now get a check of the day's weather. Hi, Sophie.
Good evening, Georgie. It was a dewy start to the day. Morning cloud blocking out the sun, but by mid-morning, blue skies had returned. We had a few hours of sunshine before it clouded over again, and that southerly change has just arrived, bringing showers off the coast and winds gusting up to 50 kilometres an hour at the airport. Earlier today, the city reached 26.6 degrees, while the west was 5 degrees above the April average, climbing into the 30s. The weekend is looking coolish, but with plenty of sunshine. And if you're heading to the beach, a warning has been issued for large, powerful surf, but not until tomorrow night. I'll have more after sport, Georgie.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Soph. Still to come, a tiny device about the size of a 5-cent piece could help prevent people with a heart condition from having a stroke. That remarkable medical story a little later. Revitalising Riverstone, the plan that's just been approved to build 3,000 new homes. It was a dramatic takedown on the M4 that allegedly stopped an underworld hit. Now, the intended target has been revealed. And the Castle Hill man who made a $40 million mistake. The green light's been given to rezone Riverstone, paving the way for a revitalised town centre and buildings of up to 15 stories around the railway station. The changes, approved tonight, could see close to 3,000 new homes built. The area is a known flood zone and the state government has committed to upgrading evacuation routes. Police are appealing for our help after a brick was thrown through the window of an elderly woman's home at Mount Druitt last year. Police releasing this CCTV vision of a man who they believe can assist with inquiries. The incident left the 79-year-old in hospital with serious facial injuries. The parents of Jai Wright delivered powerful impact statements in court today in front of former police officer Benedict Bryant, found guilty of causing his death. Jay died after a crash in Alexandria in 2022, with sentencing expected next week.
It's a near impossible task to put the death of your own child into words. But inside court today, the parents of Jai Wright bravely tried, in front of the man who killed him. Jai's father, Lachlan, telling the court, "My children will grow up without the most loving one of them all. All we have is a big family without the glue that kept us all together." In 2022, 16-year-old Jai died in hospital from significant head injuries 1 day after he came off his trail bike in Alexandria. A court found police officer Benedict Bryant is responsible for the teen's death, finding him guilty of dangerous driving, occasioning death when he pulled his unmarked car in front of the teen in an attempt to stop him. But today, an incredible act from Jai's mother, Kylie, telling her son's killer she doesn't want him jailed. "I would not wish for your family to live through the loss I have lived through. This was not just an accident. This was my son's life." Bryant remains on bail until he learns his fate and a sentence is handed down, but the former police officer is facing a maximum of 10 years behind bars. Sentencing is due next week. Alex Heinke, 9 News.
High-profile rapper Huncho is believed to have been the intended target of a foiled attack in Sydney's West last weekend. The alleged attempt on Ali Yunus saw 3 men arrested on the M4 motorway at Wentworthville. Police say they've repeatedly warned the figure, who has alleged links to the Alameddine crime gang, about threats to his safety. Ahead in 9 News, police accidentally hit a woman while responding to this midnight crash at Greenacre. That's next. Also, actress Christina Applegate's ongoing medical battles take a dramatic turn. Victoria Beckham finally opens up about the headline-grabbing family feud with son Brooklyn. And candid confessions from the Artemis crew, just how close they came to defying orders and flying all the way to the moon. A car has ploughed into a building and burst into flames at Greenacre overnight. Police say the hatch crashed just before 1 a.m. before its passengers fled on foot. No injuries were reported, although police struck a van with a woman inside at Bankstown while responding to the incident. She was taken to hospital. There are concerns for Christina Applegate's health tonight after reports from TMC that she's been admitted to hospital in Los Angeles. The actor was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in June 2021. It's not clear why she's seeking medical treatment, but the 54-year-old has shared in the past that the illness makes her prone to infection. They might be back on Earth, but the crew of Artemis 2 still have one eye on the stars. The astronauts today reflecting on their groundbreaking mission to the far side of the moon, sharing their wishes for the future of lunar exploration.
6 days on, how do you sum up a mission to the far side of the moon?
Well, that just happened.
The Artemis 2 astronauts back on Earth reflecting on the historic adventure.
We are bonded forever. I mean, that's the closest 4 humans can be and not be a family.
The crew coming to terms with the impact of the 10-day lunar mission, bringing the world closer together.
The sense I had was the sense of fragility and feeling small, infinitesimally small, but yet this very powerful feeling as a human being, like as a group, small and powerless, but yet powerful together.
Calls with their families in space, a highlight.
When my husband looked me in the eye on that video call and said, "No, really, you've made a difference," it brought tears to my eyes, and I said, "That's all we ever wanted."
The astronauts sharing some extra insight into what it was like hurtling back to Earth.
That was a very intense 13 minutes and 36 seconds. If you dove off a skyscraper backwards, that's what it felt like for 5 seconds. And then the pilots in the mains came out, and it was glorious.
They've travelled further into space than anyone before. The commander adamant it won't be too long before they pass the baton and humans return to the lunar surface.
We just went like 250,000 miles away, and I'm telling you right now, if we had a first flight lander on board that thing, I know at least 3 of my crewmates would have been in it trying to land on the moon.
We have to be willing to accept a little more risk than we were willing to accept in the past, and to trust that we will figure it out in real time.
The magnitude of the mission still sinking in.
We did what we said we were going to do. Yep. And now we've got to step out and just face that reality. And so that's a great thing, but I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Mimi Becker, 9 News.
Almost 3 months after Brooklyn Beckham confirmed rumours of a family feud, his mother has shared her side of the story. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Victoria Beckham said she and David have always tried to be the best parents that they can be. 27-year-old Brooklyn shared a statement in January accusing his parents of trying to ruin his relationship with his wife and being obsessed with public promotion. Some good news on the fuel front. Diesel is back below $3 a litre, Sydney's petrol prices after sport. Also, filling in the missing links to create one pathway from Parramatta to the Opera House. And in sport with James, Wayne Bennett has little sympathy for rival coach Shane Flanagan.
Good evening to you, Georgie. Yes, the Rabbitohs face the winless Dragons tomorrow, and the spotlight on Flanagan has been searing. Coming up, why Bennett isn't feeling sorry for his opposite number, whose job is well and truly on the line. Manly's third straight win soured by yet another hamstring injury to Tom Trbojevic. We're live with the latest. The last word on tonight's SCG blockbuster between the Swans and the Giants.
And hold on to your hats. We are expecting some wild, chilly winds tomorrow. I'll have those details soon.
Wayne Bennett has little empathy for Shane Flanagan, whose future as Dragons coach is on very shaky ground. The Supercoach today reminding his rival it's what he signed up for.
A moment to savour for Matt Duffy ahead of his first NRL match in 4 years.
He was very proud in there this morning. Brought his partner and his little newborn baby. There was pretty special.
There's been far less to celebrate for Wayne Bennett's rival, Shane Flanagan.
I feel for all coaches. I feel the day they sign their contracts because the day they just signed their dismissal as well. So I've been there myself. It's no fun for anybody, but that's the reality, and you've got to manage it and you've got to deal with it. You take the job, you know the consequences. One day it's a job you love doing, another day you absolutely hate it, but it's all part of the package. And if you want to cry about it, well, don't get into coaching. Okay, it's not a job for you.
Flanagan's certain coaching is still a job for him.
I coached for all my life, so I know what I'm doing. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked this year for us.
But the Dragons' losing streak dates back to August last year. The coach not willing to walk, even if the Saints slumped to an 11th straight defeat against Souths.
I've never walked away from a fight. I'm not going to walk away from anything. It's not in my nature.
Flanagan adamant he hasn't fallen out with his players despite Jaden Sewer's impending exit and Loco Pacifici Tonga's request to leave the Red V.
The players have taken ownership. We haven't lost the dressing room. I've got a good relationship with all my players. There hasn't been any fallout with Loco. Some of the commentary around it I feel is pretty unfair on the club.
Zach Bailey, 9 News.
The Panthers will be looking to bounce back quickly from their first loss of the season when they face the Dolphins in Darwin tonight. Jonathan Thurston is in the top end. Evening, JT. That loss was in Nathan Cleary's 200th game and he'll be on a mission tonight.
Yeah, certainly will be. Very out of characteristic for the Penrith Panthers. So their coach last week said they were beaten to the punch. So I expect them to come out and really firing this afternoon, tonight. So, yeah, like I said, uncharacteristic, but they'll put in a good performance.
On the other side, Hemiso Tabuai-Fidow, one of your favourites for Queensland. He's got a great try-scoring record against the Panthers. Are you expecting him to cause some trouble there tonight?
Yeah, definitely. It's hot and humid conditions up here, so I think the Red Colston's having the week off. I expect them to come out and play hard and fast and really try and assert their authority in the middle part of the field, and Hamiso will be able to do his thing off the back of that.
Stay cool, Jonathan. We'll see you at 7:30. JT joining us in Darwin. Now, injury-plagued Manly skipper Tom Trbojevic has suffered another serious setback. Zach Bailey is at Sydney Airport, where the Seagulls have just landed after their win in Townsville. Zach, how did Turbo look?
Sadly, not in a good way, James. Tom Trbojevic made his way through the terminal a short time ago on crutches. It's a concerning sign for the Manly skipper, given it's his 8th hamstring injury in as many years. He suffered it last night against the Cowboys. Now, Tom will go for scans tomorrow to determine the full extent of the injury, but early fears that he'll be sidelined for several weeks, if not months. Manly are hoping and praying he is back sooner, but Brace, the good news is for Manly, Tolu Kola was brilliant at the back after Turbo was injured last night.
You're not wrong, Zach. Thank you. Well, sellout crowd has begun arriving at the SCG for tonight's Sydney derby between the Swans and Giants, a rivalry which is getting more fierce every time the sides meet.
The fierceness is something that's built over the last couple of years, I guess, and the rivalry is going strong, and it's good to see the sport in Sydney growing. And as you said, a sold-out crowd here tonight is it's a good reason why.
The Swannies sit on top of the ladder heading into tonight's clash. The Australian PGA Championship is returning to Sydney for the first time since 1998, with the tournament to be held at the Lakes Golf Club. With the attention of Rory McIlroy's appearance at the Australian Open generated, organisers are hoping to attract more of the world's best to Aussie shores.
We would love to have Rory. We'd love to have the top 5 in the world come down and play. So, at the moment, we're just talking to their managers. We're looking at schedules.
The tournament begins on the 26th of November. And Gout is fast becoming one of the best sprinters in the world, so no surprise his opponents at the Australian Junior Championships can't get near him. The 18-year-old clocking 10.19 in the 100-metre heats. That was earlier today. The final will be held tomorrow. Georgie, I'm not a big fan of farewell, so I'm going to delay mine to you a little later in the bulletin.
Thank you, James.
See you soon.
You'd be nice. See you soon. 500,000 Australians live with atrial fibrillation. Well, now there's a simple surgical solution to give them back their quality of life. And the NYPD constable champing at the bit to round up a crim. Promising new evidence has emerged on the benefits of using a tiny heart implant to prevent stroke as an alternative to blood thinners. The latest findings giving doctors and patients confidence about surgery when lifelong medication isn't an option.
Jack Langlois used to take blood thinners to prevent clots forming in his heart, but 3 years ago he received this tiny implant as an alternative.
Makes you much less likely to get strokes and blood clots and things. I said, yeah, I'll be in that.
The 83-year-old part of a trial of this device called the Watchman Flex, led by Sydney's St Vincent's Hospital.
We enrolled in total worldwide about 3,000 patients.
All had a higher risk of stroke due to an irregular heartbeat, which affects 500,000 Australians.
People with atrial fibrillation have quite devastating strokes, often ending up with significant disability.
We're going to go from the right side.
Under general anaesthetic, the small device is implanted through the groin and is used to seal a pouch in the heart, which collects blood and is where most clots form. The procedure takes about an hour. The patient behind me receiving the implant is an 80-year-old woman who suffered serious complications on blood thinners.
Major problems with bleeding, and that's more prevalent as people get older.
The latest trial finding the device equally effective in preventing strokes as taking newer blood thinners.
I, as an implanter of the device, am now more comfortable that this therapy does work. And with time, we're hoping that this will become a true alternative.
I've not just contributed, I've benefited.
Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
One man in Castle Hill has woken up $40 million richer after initially thinking he'd won $40,000 instead. The man held the only Division 1 ticket in last night's Powerball, which he bought online, taking home the entire prize draw. He was watching the footy when he got the call and says it took a moment to realise the life-changing win. The lucky winner is already planning to buy a new home and a car. Inner West walkers will soon see upgrades beneath their feet, including along the Bay Run, as the state government looks to fill in 4 missing links on Sydney's pathways. The aim is for a continuous walkway between the stadium at Parramatta and the Opera House, running around 90 kilometres along the water.
We're not promising this will happen straight away, but this is a great way to strengthen Sydney's claim as one of the greatest walking cities in the world.
The $4.5 million worth of work around Canada Bay adds to a revamp of Parramatta Pathways, which is already underway. Economists are now warning the chance of a recession in Australia is rising rapidly. Here's Chris Kohler.
Goldman Sachs economists today upped their RBA forecasts, now predicting 2 rate rises and, concerningly, a 25% chance of a recession in Australia over the next 12 months. That's more than double their previous estimate of 11%. That said, the share market continues to hold up well, steady over the day and the week. And the Australian dollar is buying 71 US cents and 61 euro cents tonight. And finally, it's been a bit of a rough week on the economic news front, so let's look at something totally unrelated. When was the last time you used a landline? New data shows just how rare a phone attached to the wall has become. In 2017, more than half the population used one at least every 6 months. The latest figures show it's down to 12%, and they're on track to disappear within the next 3 or so years. See? That was totally unrelated.
Thank you, Chris. Well, let's take a look at the city's fuel prices now. And tonight, the average price of diesel is $2.91. The average price for unleaded sits at $2.09 a litre. There are cheaper options available. Metro Greenacre has $1.88, and you can find it for $1.91 at Earlwood. Well, champing at the bit to round up a crim, a New York City police officer has pursued a bag snatcher on horseback, galloping through the streets of Manhattan. They avoided pedestrians and weaved through parked cars, appealing to the woman to bring the pursuit to an end.
Stop running! I said stop running! Stop running!
But she wouldn't stop running until a bystander intervened on foot. Good story. Coming up, Sophie with the weather.
Thank you, Georgie. You might notice a bit of smoke haze hanging around tonight with the chance of a storm. The temperature right now, 21 degrees in the city, 23 in the west. I'll have your weekend forecast next. Hello again. It was a mostly sunny day once morning cloud cleared, and before that cool change arrived from down south, bringing showers and winds gusting up to 50 kilometres an hour. Earlier today, the temperature climbed to 30 degrees in Penrith, 29 at Blacktown and Liverpool, while the city, Cronulla and Campbelltown all reached 27. Winds were light for most of the day ahead of that cool change. Tomorrow, we are expecting those gusty southerly winds to bring more showers to coastal New South Wales, eastern Victoria and Tasmania. Easterly winds will drive rain and storms over the top end as well as North Queensland. Brisbane, though, tomorrow will be fine. A frosty start in the nation's capital, grey skies over Melbourne. It should stay dry and sunny across most of the state, apart from some showers along the north coast. The Hunter could also get a storm. Daytime temperatures will be below average. A frosty morning in Bathurst, plunging to just 1 degree before a sunny day. We are expecting a much cooler day across Sydney. Chance of a brief shower in the very early morning before blue skies. The city heading for a high of just 21 degrees with fresh southerly winds picking up to 25 kilometres an hour around midday, dipping to 13 tonight. Hazardous surf conditions also expected, but not until the evening, as well as a strong wind warning right along our coast. Cool but clear conditions across the suburbs too. Penrith, Richmond and Campbelltown all heading for 23 degrees. Blacktown and Liverpool 22. Cronulla and Terry Hills only expecting a pretty mild 20 degrees. Looking ahead, Sunday will be similar to Saturday, a cool start but finding up to 22. Monday should be mostly sunny with a 30% chance of a coastal shower. Tuesday, showers are more likely, up to 2 millimetres with southerly winds, easing off on Wednesday, 22 degrees. Thursday, 23. And in the west, cool mornings but sunny days over the weekend. The temperature ranging from 8 to 23 degrees on Sunday. Monday will be lovely, 24 degrees. Tuesday, there could be a shower but only around 1 millimetre with southerly winds picking up to 30 kilometres an hour. Partly cloudy conditions Wednesday and Thursday. Friday looks nice. But tonight, a sad night for all of us here at 9 as Georgie, you read your last bulletin. The place isn't going to be the same without you. I'm going to get a little emotional here. You're a legend of the industry. You've been a wonderful mentor to me and many girls in the newsroom. And tonight we'd like to celebrate your incredible career.
Good evening. I forgot to set my alarm.
Little Miss Perfect, who's never done anything wrong, has stuffed up this morning.
30 seconds. We are going to return now to our breaking news out of London.
Puts everything into perspective days like today, doesn't it?
So we'll go to Georgie now with the weather.
Thank you, Brian. Good evening, everyone.
What about this lady here?
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Georgia.
I'm going to have a crack at sport. Here we go.
Georgia.
Just remind me to breathe in. Full guy.
Song for you.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here.
That's a gorgeous dress. That's beautiful.
I'm having a call.
Just an old sweet song.
Good evening. Also in the news, around the country. Good evening. Those stories in a moment, and that is the news for this Friday. So to bring you up to date, this shooting at Bondi Beach has now been declared officially a terrorist incident.
Georgie. Well, that's it from me. And now, with much regret, Brian, it's time to say goodbye. Enjoy this next chapter of your life as we bring you the news. And thank you.
Thank you, Georgie.
Yes, it comes so soft and clear.
Good afternoon and welcome to 9's special coverage of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. I'm Georgie Gardner.
Anyway, I'll do my best and thank you very much. It's lovely to be here. Other eyes smile. I've seen them smile so tenderly.
Good evening. Good night.
But still in...
Shane Warne, the king of spin, reigned supreme.
Completely different. Georgia. You know, in all these years, no peace out.
Greater Sydney is being locked down until the end of September.
Old sweet song. 'Cause tonight I've got Georgie on my mind.
Yeah, that round of applause should keep on going, Georgie. I've got to say, it's beautiful seeing a 3-minute snippet like that of some of your highlights throughout your career. It'll never do you justice, though, honestly. From that mammoth stint on Today and bringing us what we needed to know each morning to then hopping into that seat each night, wrapping up everyone's day for them at home. You're the ultimate professional, the ultimate person. And we've been so lucky to live with you in this studio, and everyone at home I know would feel the same way. And you'll remember this. Young kid in his 20s came up to you in the grocery store a couple of k's up the road. We said, geez, it'd be nice to work together one day, and you've helped make a dream come true. So congratulations on amazing career.
James Bracey, thank you so much, and thank you to you too, Sophie. I'm blown away, and watching that reel is a reminder of what hideous hair I've had over the years, but also how much fun I've had, and of course covering the news. I mean, the pace and the complexity of the news cycle, and how delivering it to you has been just such an enormous privilege for close to 25 years. From that minute Brian Henderson welcomed me into the 6 p.m. studio, it has never been lost on me that this role comes with duty. A duty to be accurate, impartial and informative, but also to be human and sincere and respectful. To be a guest in your home or wherever your viewing space might be is never taken for granted, and I thank you for investing your trust. Sitting in this chair is akin to being the tip of an iceberg. Below the surface or behind the scenes is a team of outstanding reporters, producers, editors, technicians and artists, all of whom I hold in the very highest of regard. It's an almighty collaboration, and we pride ourselves in striving for excellence night after night. I have cherished being part of the 9 News team and have learnt so much from my colleagues, past and present. But nothing lasts forever, and for me, it's time to move on. Since announcing my resignation, I have been humbled and overwhelmed by your messages. Such kindness, encouragement and goodwill feel particularly precious during these turbulent times. So thank you. I'll miss you. But I'm also so grateful to have experienced something that makes saying goodbye so hard. That is 9 News for this Friday. Ali's up next with the current affair. I'm Georgie Gardner. Thank you for being with us. Enjoy your evening. Good night.